Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Late Sunday night, the Auburn commitment sweatshirt comes back on as Hugh Freeze and Auburn are able to find what I think is going to be their starting left tackle heading into 2025. Former Virginia Tech offensive tackle Xavier Chaplin transferring to Auburn. It's hard to find starting caliber tackles in the transfer portal. It's hard to find starting quality tackles in the transfer portal. I think Xavier Chaplin was one of them. Like, this is some late Sunday night news that's not going to get a ton of national media attention. We talked about this. Auburn is ready to rock and roll in 2025 at a lot of positions, but they had to replace a lot of production on the offensive line. Some massive news for Auburn pretty much all weekend, right? Dylan Wade coming back for one more year. Now you get Xavier Chaplin as your left tackle heading into 2025. This gives Auburn, in my mind, a dynamite left side of the offensive line. You're talking about Xavier Chaplin. This is going to be his third year starting at the Power 4 level. You're talking about Dylan Wade playing the position that he's best at, which I think is left guard, and then Connor Lew at center. That is a very, very good left side of the offensive line. Now, the right side is going to continue to get built up. I would expect Auburn to add a couple more bodies on the offensive line, but locking in a guy like Xavier Chaplin, it can't be understated. I think this Auburn offense is ready to rock and roll if this offensive line kind of comes together. It's a massive piece within this offensive line. Fired up to get into a little bit of Xavier Chaplin's game. Now, before we do, as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Auburn fans. It's been a busy last couple of days for Auburn. Obviously, landing Jackson Arnold, Walker White transferring out. It's been a blast talking about it. The amount of support y'all continue to throw in the comment section, that stuff means the world. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into Xavier Chaplin. This has been a guy, a Wake Forest alum. I watched a lot of ACC football. Xavier Chaplin, I think what's cool about Xavier Chaplin is you're getting a bona fide Power 4 starter, right? In 2024, he was an honorable mention All ACC left tackle. I think this kid is still developing. And so, although you might be getting a really solid left tackle right now, he might turn into a very good left tackle in the SEC for Auburn. 6'7", 325. He carries the weight exceptionally well, and the athleticism for someone who is 6'7", it's impressive. I mean, he's light on his feet. He's solid in pass protection. You take a look at pass protection, which is when you see a 6'7" offensive tackle, sometimes they struggle, especially giving up that outside shoulder. 315 pass per opportunities in 2024, only gave up 10 quarterback hurries, 2 sacks, has started for over 1,400 snaps over the last 2 years. This is exactly what you're looking for. And again, I don't think Auburn's done. So although you get a guy like Xavier Chaplin, who I might add is very good in the run blocking department, as you might expect being 325 pounds, that's been something Auburn I would like to see them do a little bit more of, quite frankly, with Jackson Arnold coming in, get that run game going. Xavier Chaplin certainly can do that. You talk about running to the left side of the offensive line. Xavier Chaplin, Dylan Wade, Connor Lew, who is exceptional working to the second level. That's a really dynamic left side of the offensive line. Now, I don't think Auburn's done. I give Hugh Freeze a lot of credit where you can tell most of the attention he is spending in the transfer portal is, one, he's hitching his wagon to Jackson Arnold at quarterback, which I'm personally a fan of. I know some Auburn fans are kind of in wait-and-see mode, and I understand that. Now you're making sure you surround Jackson Arnold with what he needs. And I think it starts with an offensive line. You go back to the time Jackson Arnold was at Oklahoma, it just didn't have a quality offensive line. When Jackson Arnold was kept clean in Oklahoma in 2024, his numbers were actually quite good. We know this kid can spin it. We just got to make sure he has a run game and pass protection to kind of hold up, because we know the guys on the outside are going to be plenty good enough. Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons. If you can give him an offensive line that gives him some clean pockets, I'm really confident Jackson Arnold can lead this offense at a high level. Xavier Chaplin's a good start. Now, I don't think they're done. Let's talk about the right side of the offensive line for just a second. Now, Mason Murphy, really interesting tackle prospect from USC. Spent a lot of time watching USC this year. In pass protection, Mason Murphy struggles at times. I would like to see Mason Murphy maybe kick into guard. And if you're Auburn, you can bring in Mason Murphy. You can try him at right tackle, which is the ideal position for him. That's the position he started with the last 2 years at USC. If it doesn't work out and the pass protection still continues to be a problem, you probably kick him inside. But you look at Mason Murphy and say, this is a guy that has started over 1,700 career snaps, or I played, 1,700 career snaps in his career, left tackle, right tackle, and guard. And so he's a guy that gives you some position versatility. He's a guy that's played a lot of football at the P4 level. We'll see what happens with the Mason Murphy. Again, question marks in pass protection. The reason I say I'd like to see him play guard is he's quite good in a phone booth. You know, Mason Murphy in pass protection at times with some of those twitchier edge rushers, they give him some problems. But you put him in that guard and you have him operate a little bit more in a phone booth, I think he can be quite good for Auburn. So we'll see how that one goes. Another guy that I think is really intriguing is Josh Thompson. This is one of those guys that you kind of plug and play on the inside of the offensive line and you throw away the key. A guy that has played a lot of football in the Big Ten, over 1,400 career snaps, has played both right tackle and right guard. So again, you're kind of building that position versatility. And if you're Auburn, you're just trying to grab as many good offensive linemen as you can and kind of figure out the best five. And if you grab guys like Josh Thompson and Mason Murphy who have that position flex, it gets kind of easier to put the puzzle pieces together in terms of who our best starting five are going to be. That's not to mention guys like DeAndre Carter or Joyner, who I think might be ready in 2025 as well. It's nice to see Hugh Freeze. All right, we got our quarterback in Jackson Arnold. We know we have the dudes on the outside, and they're looking to add some other guys, right? Guys like Eric Singleton, it sounds like Auburn's in a good spot for. But I think the pass catchers are fine. I think if you're Hugh Freeze, you want to make sure this offensive line is going to be up to snuff. We all know in the SEC, if you don't have good offensive line play, it's hard to have a good offense. The Auburn offensive line in 2024, solid in the run game, sometimes broke down in the pass protection game. Continue to build around Jackson Arnold, and I think this offense can be awfully dynamic in 2025. That's exactly what Hugh Freeze is doing. I can't stress enough getting a starting caliber left tackle in the portal. There ain't that many of them. Everybody wants them. Hugh Freeze locking in Xavier Chaplin. That's massive news for this Auburn program. Late Sunday night, I'm already getting excited about what this offense can look like in 2025. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.